Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms, and today I want to talk about Terminator Genisys, the latest Terminator film, which is the fifth film in the franchise. And guys, this isn't going to be like a full review where I talk about the whole plot and everything else because, the film's already been reviewed enough. But since I picked up the Blu-ray and watched the film, I figure I would give my thoughts on this. And this will have spoilers in it because, I figure anybody who wants to watch this, they've probably already seen the film. And I've had a few people asking me what I thought of this. So this will have spoilers in it. So if you haven't seen this film, you might not want to watch this review. So, I was really hesitant to watch this film. Like when it was out in the theater, I was, thinking, man, I don't know, they're gonna redo the storyline. I kept hearing it's a remake, then I kept hearing it's not a remake. And I knew for sure that it wasn't going to follow the storyline that had been established previously, and especially like with Salvation. And I was very disappointed in that because I was one of the few people that actually really enjoyed Salvation. I really liked the direction the film was going in and how it was all based in the future. I really liked that a lot, and I wish they could have continued on with that. I realize, the studio that had the rights to it had filed bankruptcy, and there's a lot of murky water there and exactly what happened. I know that was a big catalyst to it, actually not taking place. And it's unfortunate because Christian Bale, I know, was signed on for 2 sequels. So yeah, it didn't happen obviously, and so we got Genisys with Arnold Schwarzenegger back on board. And I kept hearing that the 3D Blu-ray was really good, so I thought, man, you know what, I'll just go ahead and get it. And plus, I'm a Terminator completist, so I went out and bought it. And guys, I've watched it twice. I watched it yesterday in 2D, and today I watched it in 3D. But unfortunately, halfway through the film, the batteries went out in my glasses. I have an active 3D system, and my batteries went out, unfortunately. But I will say the 3D out of what I saw was really good. It turned out good. But anyway, like I said, I watched it yesterday, and after I watched it the first time yesterday, I was thinking, I liked it, I enjoyed it. I certainly didn't regret buying it, but I felt that it was pretty convoluted, and some of the things in it just weren't real clear, like with John Connor and how he became a Terminator. There's just a lot of just unclear things there with that, like, um, the Terminator, I guess it's one of the Terminators got a hold of him, Genisys, the Terminator Genisys, whatever, and it turned him into a Terminator with like this nanotechnology. I don't really know, but I thought it was very convoluted. But as the day went along today, after watching the film, I kept thinking about it a lot, and the more I thought about it, the more I liked the film, and I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and watch it again, and this time in 3D. And the second time around, guys, I liked it even more. And I would actually say that I like this film now. I enjoy this film. It's certainly a flawed film, and I still believe it is convoluted at times, and it's overly complicated where it doesn't need to be, but it still has a lot of elements that I like. And I was disappointed that it was PG-13. That does take away from the element because all the Terminator films, man, I mean, you want to see people getting blown up. You want to see blood and guts. You want to see just a more hardcore element that you can bring with a PG-13 film. So that's one thing I didn't like about it. Arnold, I thought, did pretty good, and how they explain how he's an older Terminator. I like that, and they explain how his flesh is what makes him old and makes him almost where he's got like arthritis, like his hand all freezes up. If you don't put too much thought into that, you can accept it. At least I could. But when I do think about that a lot, I'm thinking, well, his exoskeleton underneath is not wearing out, why would his flesh hold back this exoskeleton that can destroy everything? I mean, how can this simple organic thing like human flesh hold him back? But like I said, just if you can just roll with it, you might be able to accept it. Arnold, I thought, did all right. Arnold is a so-so actor, but he does have a charisma and a presence on screen. He does okay in this. Jason Clarke as John Connor. I did not care for this guy as John Connor. I think he's probably the weakest John Connor that we've had so far. He was another problem I had with the film. I just did not care for him at all in the role. Um, I guess it's Jay, whatever. Courtney played Kyle Reese. I liked him. I thought he did good. He's no Michael Biehn, but I mean he did a pretty good job. But the standout actor for me, or actress for me, was Emilia Clarke that played Sarah Connor. I thought she did a really, really good job. I really enjoyed what she brought to this role. And I thought she did a pretty damn good job. But, you know, another thing with this film is, you know, it's very, very heavy on CG, which, you know, Terminator 2 really revolutionized CG. So, of course, you're going to expect CG from a Terminator film. But the CG in this, guys, I was impressed with it. I was really impressed. I thought for the most part, it turned out really, really well. And like how they totally redid Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, there at the beginning when they redid the part from the first one. Wow, I mean, that's probably the best representation of a full human CG element character, whatever, that I've ever seen. And I realize they had a stand-in guy for the body and all that, but just the way they made it really look like Arnold from that first film, it looks very, very good. And, you know, a lot of the other things look good too, like all the stuff they did on the Golden Gate Bridge, all of that looked really good. So impressive, you know, CG effects in this. You know, and what's impressive now with CG, you know, 2 years from now usually doesn't look very good, and that's the downside of you know, CG effects as opposed to practical effects. But you know, it works. I thought. I thought it looked pretty good. As far as, you know, like the story with it being, you know, back and forth, is it a remake? Is it not a remake? I thought it was pretty damn clever how they pulled this off, because really it is kind of both. It is kind of a remake, but it definitely honors the first and second film. And the way they do it with tying in the first film there at the beginning, which everybody's seen in the previews, I thought that was pretty damn awesome, because it like creates an alternate reality where, you know, things shift, things change. When John Connor is attacked, when Kyle is going into the time machine, and it changes everything. So it's a pretty unique situation of a reboot slash remake, but also a continuation that honors what came before it for the most part. um, but yeah, I thought that was really cool how they did it. It really made me think a lot, like, wow, this is a unique situation. I can't think of a film that has done this, where it's kind of both, and how it creates an alternate reality. I mean, I've heard some people mention that the new Star Trek was kind of that way, and maybe it is. I haven't seen them. I don't really have any desire to. But, you know, regardless, for what I've seen, this is a very unique situation. But guys, you know, if you're like me and you were really hesitant to watch this, I totally get that. I totally understand that, because it's, you know, Terminator franchise has been done to death, and there is a lot of rehash in this. I mean, I've heard that complaint with this, and I can see that too, but I don't know, guys. I enjoyed it. I thought that it was a fun film. I liked it better than 3, and even though I really like Salvation, I think I might even like this better than Salvation. So, you know, next to 1 and 2, this might be my third favorite film out of the 5. But yeah, I would suggest checking this out, guys, if you haven't seen it and you're a fan of the other films. Just go into it with an open mind and don't expect much. That's the thing. Just don't have any high expectations, and definitely don't expect it to be 1 or 2, and part 1 or 2, that is, and you might be impressed. You might, you know, at least be entertained by it. The 3D, like I said, is really good, at least what I saw of it. It turned out really well, especially for it being converted post-production. The regular 2D Blu-ray looks really, really good. The opening scene where the Resistance is fighting Skynet is really awesome. All the explosions, all of the action going on the screen looks fantastic. And this does have a nice slip cover here. It comes with a digital copy, 3D Blu-ray, regular Blu-ray, DVD. It's the loaded up 3D combo pack, of course. Nice embossed cover there, which this is kind of like the nanotechnology that John Connor has. It's a little light on special features, but that's okay. And I was kind of disappointed that there's no commentary or anything like that. But you know, I think it's worth a pickup if you know have the other Terminator films to complete your collection. It's definitely worth that. But guys, the 3D, I'm going to give the 3D an 8 out of 10. The movie itself, I'm going to give it an 8 too. Actually, yesterday, if you would ask me, might have been a 6.5, 7. But after thinking about it and watching it again, guys, I'm going to give it as high as an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film, and this is one that I will certainly revisit again and again. Probably, you know, I really like sci-fi films, the Terminator franchise. So yeah, it's worth checking out to me, guys. I think so. So guys, this is Terminator Genisys, and supposedly there is going to be 2 other films in this franchise. At first they were saying it didn't do well enough, they were going to cut it off. Well, I just read today that it was announced, I guess just this past weekend, that they are going to go ahead with the sequels. They're just, it's going to be delayed a little bit longer. They're going to figure out exactly what they want to do with it, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know. But yeah, guys, that's it for now. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and check it out and let me know what you think. And if you have seen it, let me know what you think. Take care, guys. Later.